Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to get up and running real quick with our ReasonReact application running on Next.js. I've been playing around with this for a bit now, and I found that it's a really cool sort of stack. Later on, we'll add some a backend, add a Apollo client and Amplify, Appsync GraphQL backend. But in the meantime, let's just get up and running real quick with the application. I really like Next.js. It's got some cool features. It's obviously a web framework for with server-side rendering, automatic code splitting, static exporting. ReasonReact is also a cool language, built on OCaml, being worked on actively by the people at Facebook who actually built React, and they've openly said that they feel it's really the next kind of progression of where React.js should be heading. It's a very terse language, so you can accomplish a lot with very little code. It's it has a very good sort of it's a very good strongly typed language, so you can code with confidence. A lot of your errors that normally would happen at runtime with JavaScript will get picked up by your compiler. And ReasonReact compiles via BuckleScript to JavaScript. And it's a very fast compiler as well. So anyway, look, let's get something up and running, and then you can judge for yourself. And let me know in the comments what you think. In the next few videos, we'll evolve this application, like I said, to have a backend where my plan is to incorporate AWS Amplify, Appsync GraphQL, and of course, let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover. So let's get stuck into it. So there are a couple of things you're going to need to get up and running. One of those being Node.js. Node ships with its own package manager, npm Node package manager. I actually prefer to use Yarn. Either way, I will link the I'll include the link to Node and Yarn in the description below, and instructions on how to install those. But assuming that you've got Node and Yarn installed, we need to provision our app. So we'll do that by running the create next app directive, yarn create next app, and let it do its thing. Might take about a minute or so. Okay, you'll get to this point, and it's going to prompt you to name your project. I'm going to call it my blog. So this is going to create a directory with a bunch of files in it. If we go into that, cd my blog, and we'll just need to add a couple more things to get ReasonReact up and running. So we'll need to add the BS platform, and it's a dev dependency. Exact. I say exact because I want a particular version of BuckleScript, and if I run yarn install again, I don't want to update patches. So you'll see in the package.json file, it's not going to add the little hat to it. So if we run that, that looks like it's done. And we also want to add ReasonReact. Again, let's make it exact. And a couple of other things, yarn add Babel core and Babel plugin BuckleScript. Awesome. Now that that's there, we can actually open up our application in our favorite IDE. Okay, so I like to use WebStorm, and you can see here all the files that Create Next App has created for us. This pages directory, the way Next work is any file, any JavaScript file that's in that pages directory will actually create a route, a page route. So if you had about.js, contactus.js in here, browsing to /about.js will render that page. So there's still a few more things we need to add to provision our ReasonReact Next.js app. The next really important thing is a bsconfig file, bsconfig.json. And this is telling the BuckleScript compiler a few things that it needs to know about our application. I'm just going to paste this in, and you can actually grab this if you like from my GitHub, and I will also link the repo in the description below. But importantly, we're telling BuckleScript where our ReasonReact files will be. We're telling it of any dependencies that it needs, in this case the ReasonReact package that we installed a moment ago. So it doesn't know, we don't have a source file, a directory at the moment, so we might as well add that right now. There that is, and inside there is where I'm going to have our components. So I'm going to create that as well. Okay. So from here, we can create our first ReasonReact component, and keeping with tradition, we're going to make this hello.re. We start with the react.component directive to tell BuckleScript that we are creating a ReasonReact component. Every ReasonReact component has a make function, which we define with the let keyword. Let make equal, in this case we're not passing it any variables, and we're just going to return a div. Now, because ReasonReact is strongly typed, you really need to tell it everything that you're doing. So in this case, if you actually want a string, you need to tell it that you want a string. So if you don't do this and you just put in a string, the compiler will give you an error. Right, and we need to export that function. So let default equals make. Okay, so in order to compile this to JavaScript, we need to add a little script to our package.json, which I'm going to call dev reason, and we're going to tell BuckleScript to clean first and add the W directive to watch for changes. I think if I run this, it should create a hello.bs.js file, hopefully. And there it is. So that's the JavaScript that BuckleScript compiles. And as far as compiled JavaScript is concerned, it's quite legible. Now, because ReasonReact interops beautifully with JavaScript, we can actually go into a JavaScript file and import a component that was created in ReasonReact, no problemo. So I'm going to delete all the stuff that was created by create next app here. And I'm going to instead const hello equals require, and we're just going to import that component that we just created. Oops, no. That's the one. And call the make function. If we do this, we should be able to now run next dev. So we still have the ReasonReact watcher running in this tab, and the next dev application running there, telling us that the app is now running on port 3000. So if I open up my browser, we should see the hello message running. And there we do. Right, beautiful. Let me go back to the pages and demonstrate next routes again. I mentioned that earlier. Everything in this pages directory will be a page route. So we'll create a new one and let's call it goodbye. .re. Again, we need to say that we've got a React component, define a make function, not passing it anything. I'm just going to copy this from here. Goodbye. Export it. The compiler should pick that up pretty quickly, unless there's an error, in which case it'll tell me there's an error. And what is our error? Syntax error on line 2. Oh, silly me. Getting a bit too carried away there. But that's a perfect example of the compiler picking things up at compile time rather than runtime. Okay, so we've had a look at how JavaScript interops with ReasonReact, importing a ReasonReact component in a JavaScript file and rendering that. And so, well, we know that that Next.js treats anything in the pages directory with a .js extension as a page route, but we can also tell it to treat .bs.js files as page routes as well. So to do that, we need to add a next.config.js file. And while I'm at it, I'm going to yarn add next transpile modules, just so we can tell Next to transpile anything in the node modules directory from ES6 as well. And I'm just going to copy this over because I can't be bothered typing it all out. Again, you can grab this from the Git directory, which I will link. Let me start the Reason compiler and also the Next application. So in doing this, that goodbye.bs.js file should be picked up as a page route. And there it is. Hello and goodbye. So I think that'll do it for now. The next video we'll add a few things. We'll add the page template using ReasonReact. We'll add BS CSS, so some styling, and we'll add a header and some navigation to our application. So hope you enjoyed that, guys, and let me know in the comments below if there's anything you'd like me to cover. The plan for this is to build a full stack application with Next, ReasonReact, Apollo on the front end, AWS Amplify, which is very cool. I've been using that quite a lot lately, and Appsync GraphQL to build a full blog application. So once again, hope you enjoyed, and thanks heaps for watching.